Okay, this one is on the 3D transitioning to the 5D. So I had a lot of questions. I was a little confused because they always point me towards information that they want me to know. And they gave me a lot of information and I was confused. Like, what parts are going to make sense? What parts real? Or how is it going to happen? So I was like, well, I heard of the two earths. Um, and the fact that no one gets left behind. And they like what was correct from going from 3D to 5D. Uh, was there going to be two Earths, a higher and a lower, for two different groups of energetic people? And the fact they were saying no one was going to left behind, and I was like, how? How are they going to have people that don't cause harm together with people that cause harm? How is it going to be 5D then? And then how does it work where they showed the other download to me where certain groups of people had a purpose of evolving. They're doing it faster than everybody else and they're dragging everybody else to new timelines. They're like shifting, dragging everybody along to evolve, while we're jumping from a higher level of timeline to a higher level of time and gradually making it to the 5D. And I was like, well, then are both of them right? And if they're both right, how are they right? And then there was another download talking about they're going to take these people to a state where they cause no harm. They're going to be incapacitated. And I was like, what does incapacitated consist of? Please explain some more. And they said they were going to strip them. It was a process of stripping them of everything that they loved, that represented them to them, that what they considered important. And there was another one of putting them in a place with their kind to teach each other, like a litter of puppies, how to interact in a more balanced way, to not cause harm, to like learn to not hurt others because they're getting hurt. And then does the fact that how does it work that what time is supposed to be relative? Does that go? How does that work? And then the other description they had of like everything, I've explained it in another video about the atoms, electrons, and how everything influences everything, and because it does, just your thought can influence something all the way to the ends of the universe. And that life is basically everything's occurring right now, like on a CD, like a role play CD. But every person or we decide to experience one spot on the CD. But since everything affects everything, past, present, and future, and how they practice, well, they say that the present moment is the most important moment because what you decide right now, what you focus on right now, actually affects your past and your future. So the one spot on the CD, you can affect your future. You can keep on changing the CD with every moment. And I was like, how does that work into it? And then I was like, okay, you guys showed all that to me. And I was like, I guess, because they've shown it to me like different perspectives, different theories and ideas are like a puzzle piece to a whole picture. That no one is actually wrong, it's just their perspective. And some parts go, they're more like a surface explanation, and some go even deeper and where there's more information. And so it kind of looks crazy, but because we're humans, that everything is, if they were to explain it, we couldn't comprehend or understand. So all of them could exist at the same time. And I was like, well, how? And I assumed it does because why would they show it to me? And they're explaining everyone experiences their own matrix. within the bigger collective matrix. And you've seen it where like two people could be at a same event or having a discussion and they could experience it totally different. And one person could have like so all kinds of synchronicities and it's like totally designed for them, but another person won't even see any of that or view it in that perspective. So everybody has their own custom made matrix that they experience within the collective matrix. So there can actually be at the same time two earths, two groups of energetic people experiencing those two different matrices with their own personal individual matrices. So that would all be occurring at the same in the same space at the same time. And they were saying, and I was like, well, what about how are we? What about the other ones at the lower energy that do like really horrible negative things? And I'm like, I believe in miracles, but I can't. How is it going to work? How are these people going to be like totally changed where they're not going to cause any harm? They're going to be these totally enlightened beings. If no one's going to be left behind, everybody's going to the 5D. And then they showed me a picture, and I get like a certain group, they're evolving faster, they're processing faster, everybody's attached, they're dragging everybody else along. Jumping timelines, higher energy, and along with these people that are going to be dragged, experiencing their own lessons so they can change, evolve, wake up, and release everything that they considered important, that they thought defined them, instead of the importance of life and loving themselves, like really loving themselves and having awareness of self. And they were saying with this release of all of this, these people would actually experience that because they considered it as them. And that it would be really, really painful. And hopefully, like everybody gets chances, that it would help them to transition or evolve, that everybody was getting chances. And so basically all this stuff that as they went on, if they didn't evolve, they didn't change, the process was they were going to, and the way that it looked to me like sort of like someone being dragged by a horse. So it's like their skin was being stripped off. And then it was going to be stripped all the way to the core. So these things would be stripped like an onion, layer by layer, all the way to the core. Down to what they truly are, divine spirit, life energy. And that they would no longer be that which they were before. And so that would involve some people would literally lose everything that they valued. They would lose notoriety, money, their job, friends, family, everything that superficial outside of themselves that they considered important were, they didn't know, they couldn't recognize, like their vision was so distorted and all they did was like cause harm to themselves and to everybody else. So all this would be stripped from them. And it was an ugly picture that they had put in my head. And they were like, or they could just decide before this process or during this process to not be dragged, stand up, go along willingly, and realize what is not important and what does cause harm, and just go through this in a less painful way, make it to the 5D intact as themselves. But if not, they'll be stripped to the core where all layers of energy imprints, programming, distortions will be removed. And then it'll be taking them back to pure life energy spirit. And that they would begin the process of evolution life again, but that's how they would come to 5D. Basically as a building block to life. So they'll make it to the 5D, but there will not be anything like they were in the 3D. Nothing that they were at all. They'd be part of an atom, or actually be an atom. They could be part of an elemental, insect, or an animal. Redoing the life process because of the previous forms. In the previous form, they experienced too much for it to progress without causing harm in that form in the 5D. There was too much trauma, too many lifetimes of it, negative energy, curses, distortions, that they couldn't do the process, the change, evolve in the way that our human mind knows it. And then I asked him about, I was like, yeah, that's cool, we're going to make it to the 5D. And I'm like, well, is it going to be like, happen when, like, after I die, after I did, when all of us went through all of this? Is it going to be something like way in the future? And they were like, no, we can't do that to you. They're like, you're going to experience other life forms, very advanced technologies, and the ultimate thing, oh shoot, I guess I'll put the rest of it on another video.